Hey guys, today is a weekly wrap-up, and that is where I talk about the books that I have finished in the past week, the book that I'm currently reading, and if there was anything bought in the past week, my to-be-read pile. So, yeah, this week I do not have a to-be-read pile because I didn't buy any books, and I probably won't be buying any more until probably January because of Christmas and all that stuff. I'm trying to catch up on the books that I am reading that I have piled really high at this moment, so I feel like I should try to lay low on buying books, even though it's so tempting. But yeah, I was able to finish one book, and I am now currently reading another. So I will first talk about the book that I'm currently reading, and that is The Castaways by Ellen Hilderbrand, and this is about these four close-knit families. They're like really close to each other, and one of the couples from this group, marriage has been on the rocks, and because of the rumors that has spread about the husband, Greg, who was supposedly having an affair with one of his students. He's a teacher for music, and supposedly he was having an affair with one of the students, as I said, and it caused a lot of issues with them, and they decided that they needed to try to find a way to work it out, and they decided to sail to somewhere, I forget where it was, I think the Hamptons, and hopefully they can try to find a way to start the process of mending their marriage. But they somehow drown, and this is the story about the secrets that all these families have and the mystery around what happened. Like, there's certain things that start popping out about what happened that is curious, and it starts a roller coaster. So far, it's okay. I really liked how she introduced the characters and starts developing them. I like that she has a chapter for each person, and you get to know them as an individual, not just through someone's own eye, but through their own. And I like that she introduced them, they introduced their feelings about what was going on, and you got to know their own past as well. And I did like that, but there were times where I wondered, like, what was the point of her telling you this in relation to what she was also talking about at that time. But overall, I felt like it was really good. I am on page 85. I started this yesterday, so I think I got a really good start. This is the furthest I've gotten in one day's reading, actually. Almost 200 pages. I think that I'm gonna really like it. It's interesting. There is a mystery to this, and I love mystery stuff, so I don't really read mystery books so much, but I think I'm gonna like this, but it's not the same kind of book that I normally read lately, so I don't know. I'm hoping. I like it. I do like it. Okay, I like it, but I just kind of feel myself being cautious with it for some reason, so I don't know. The book that I finished this last week is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, and this I read through my Nook, and here's the picture for it. So this book is about a man named Dorian Gray who, after seeing his painting and realizing that his youth is not going to be forever kind of a deal, he pretty much makes this wish where he says that, I wish that my painting would grow old and I would keep the look of youth on me, kind of thing. And it comes true, and he just starts going crazy and starts doing all these really horrible things, and it just keeps leading to one bigger horrible thing to the bigger horrible thing until it all explodes. So let's talk about the writing. I liked the writing. It was good, but it wasn't the greatest. Like, I liked how well he was able to create the characters and the story and just draw you into it and keep you there. But there was a point, I think it was the 11th chapter, and all of a sudden it was just bogged down with so much details, and he described everything, like from what he was buying to what he was, everything. It was just what he was buying and everything, and I was just like, okay, I get that he wants you to understand like how far he's gone and away from the person he was before he wished that wish and it came true, but I felt like he could have shortened it up a little bit, sped it up just a bit to get us going into the story. I wanted to know what was going to happen next, and then he just suddenly, it was like an intermission, and you're just like 15 minutes long with intermission. Oh, I can't wait to see what's going to happen next, and so it's just, I didn't really go for that part, but once it got past that intermission, it just like, everything just started exploding, and it was really, really awesome for me, because it kind of made it worth waiting to get through that slow spot. So now onto the characters. Dorian Gray, Lord Henry, Basil Hallward, I don't know what his last name is, Howard, I think. Every time I think of his last name, I think of Holloway, and it's not that at all. So, pardon if I got his last name wrong. But these characters, other than Basil, weren't likable. Okay, I loved Basil. He seemed so kind, even though he wasn't perfect. There was goodness in him. The other two characters, they were like the main characters, specifically, well, of course, Dorian Gray is the main character, and Lord Henry is kind of the reason for all of this. And I do not like them. Like, at the beginning, I thought maybe Dorian Gray would be an okay person, and I might be able to, I don't know, have an understanding of why he went down that way. But it ended up, I hated him. I hated Lord Henry. I hated everything about them. It's just, they were horribly cruel, grotesque people, and I could not imagine myself even being a foot away from them, because that kind of personality, that kind of way of thinking is just so, it just takes away any goodness in the room, kind of thing. So I just couldn't like them. But you may think that because the characters were so horrible that I wouldn't like this book. But I did like this book. And the main thing about that is because I do not believe that the characters really were what drove this overall story. Yes, it was about them, and yes, it was about what happened to Dorian Gray. But the moral, the lesson, the warning that Oscar Wilde is trying to give us, I feel, is what drove the story. So I really appreciated that, because there was a lot of philosophy, there was a lot of discussion, and kind of this discussion of, do you believe this and this and this, and you have to kind of try to pull out Oscar Wilde's point of view on this. Like, does he agree with Lord Henry and Dorian Gray, or is he just using them as an example to say, no, don't be doing this crazy stuff, this is not the way to live? And at the very end, I realized what he believed in, and I was pleasantly relieved that he was not in favor of them. And so, once you finish the book, you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, I see that. He's trying to take superficiality and vanity and show you how those two things can be very destructive to a person. And I found that very intriguing, that Oscar Wilde did a really great job in giving you this whole picture and this lesson, a warning, I would say, about that. I thought that it was wonderful, and that's what kept me into this book. A lot of people say that it's too bogged down to the philosophy and not enough in the story, but Oscar Wilde, he wasn't about the story. He never went into this book thinking that he was going to give you an entertaining story. This was not a story to be entertaining. He was trying to make a point through this book, and if you study up on this character, not character, but this author, and what happened to him because of this book, you get a hint that there was more to this book than just what meets the eye, especially because we see a story and we think, oh, this is entertainment, but it's not. And I think that we need to kind of be careful when it comes to books that were written that aren't modern, that they're considered classics, because a lot of those books, and I've noticed this when I'm reading them, is that they're not only entertainment. They're trying to send a message to the public. They're trying to send something out there to kind of say, hey public, you know, I think this and this story is going to give it to that message to you. And so I think that a lot of the readers nowadays who are reading this book might be missing that. So I'll just throw that out there for you guys, because I think that this book was not a story. It was more than a story. It was a message, and it's an important message, I think. So yeah, that was my review for the Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I really liked it. I did think that it dragged a bit, but it didn't last too long, and once it was, things just kept on moving, and I really liked the lessons, the philosophy, the things that he was trying to give to the reader and to the public at that time. What he was trying to say was really loud, and I appreciated the effort that he put into giving that message out there. So I gave this a 4-star rating, and that is all for me. I will see you in the next one. Happy holiday month. Bye!